All right, so we're going to talk about how to create more engaging content because everyone's trying to create content right now. So let's talk about it.
Well, dude, the first one, and this is the most obvious one, is don't use AI to create your content. AI is just creating more regurgitated stuff. ChatGPT's index is what? 3.5 is from September 2021, I think it is. And they say ChatGPT 4 is still going to be September 2021, so they're not going to adjust the date time frame, although that will be modified over time. Bard is a few weeks old, so it's pretty live and up to date. And I don't know why more people still use ChatGPT over Bard.
I use Bard. Look at all the workplace integrations now.
Dude, it's just so much better. But what we're seeing is, dude, literally, I don't know how many clients you talk to, but we talk to so many potential customers, and they're all saying like, oh, how do we just create our content with AI? And I remember I was talking to someone, and they're just like, we don't need a budget for content. We're just going to create all AI, and we're going to get better results because we can create more of the content. I said, okay, try it out. They created tons of content, and their traffic actually started going down. And they started publishing it, and I was like, one, the content's not engaging. Two, it's just regurgitated information that you can find all over the web. Three, you now have a ton of low-quality pages on your site, which Google and search engines hate, and they prefer you to have less pages but extremely high quality.
Actually, to build off of that, it works when you use AI to create modified content. And what I mean by that, yeah, and I don't think any people are talking about that. Like, yes, modified content works. And so if like this, for example, modifying this into like a blog post, that will work. And
or taking your old content, updating it, that's modifying it as well. That works really well.
And dubbing is also modifying content too.
Yep.
So I think more people need to be talking about that moving forward. We just coined that here. And what else is there with the AI stuff?
I think that's the biggest way to lose engagement. The second thing is, if you want super engaging content, you got to create something that's new and fresh that people haven't talked about. See, when we started in the marketing game, it was all about how many pieces of content can you crank out each and every single week and what are the keywords that you can target. But now it's not about that. Like, sure, yeah, you still want to target keywords and you want to cover the necessities when it comes to your industry and just have all the basics, intermediate and advanced type of content covered. But people really want to hear the new stuff. Mm-hmm. It's not about like, oh, to create engaging content, you need to have an infographic or a video or use social media. It's more so people want to engage with new stuff that just helps them, and the content isn't really trying to sell on anything.
You know what's interesting? So we're kind of talking about this in the context of SEO, and I want to pivot into social in a second, but I don't know about you. Like, I was looking at Google Search Console, this just out of curiosity. I was like, I wonder how many clients their traffic has been declining in the last 12 months from an SEO standpoint. I think it's like 70%. And not all of them are doing like SEO with us, right? But it's just like, you look at them, it's like, wow, like the SEO is just getting harder. And I think one of the trends, what we've talked about in a previous podcast, is like SEO is very much a rich man's game or rich woman's game. It's getting tougher.
It is getting tougher, but we look at a lot of data on Search Console data and companies that are doing marketing, including the ones we work with.
You have a lot of Ubersuggest data. Are you seeing it?
We're
decline?
seeing increases. No, we're not seeing.
So overall increase is what you're seeing
from the people that are doing marketing. Like when we look at all our clients, because we track it, we're seeing increases.
These are SEO we're just
Correct.
Yeah, mine's we're just also
You're just looking at general.
We're looking at general. Yeah.
But when we look at people who are just doing SEO, we're still seeing nice gains. What we're not seeing anymore is, assuming you're at scale, there was a point where you were able to get like 30, 40, 60, 100% gains year over year. And again, this is assuming you're at scale. We're not seeing that as much anymore, but we are seeing nice wins. And we're seeing sites that have content around one subject, one area, perform way better than sites that just talk about everything.
There's this one gal, she has a Substack, and where she talks about, I think she's probably the only one of the only few people in this world that has this data set on like, who prefers monogamy versus polygamy, or is it polygamy or polyamory, whatever.
Dude, I don't know. I'm married.
Yeah, I don't know. I just don't know how to pronounce the words. But anyway, there's all this data. It's like, who's actually cheated before? Have you ever cheated in a relationship? So she has all this data, and it's like mapped into like graphs and things like that. The point is, people want novelty, and people like, if you have interesting data, that is novel, right? Yes. If you have an interesting point of view, that is novel. If you can tell a good story, that is novel. But if you keep regurgitating the same stuff, then...
And what we say, whether it's content on social or a website that's text-based, people want short, digestible. It doesn't mean that your content can be 3,000 words. It means that people need to be able to skim it and get all the nuggets and the insights that they want really quickly. On social, we're seeing long form video just not perform as well as short form video. People have shorter attention spans. What's the saying? The average human has a shorter attention span than a goldfish.
Yeah, a couple seconds.
Yeah, it's something crazy like that. And I don't think it's getting better with TikTok or Reels or anything like that.
I mean, to your point, you talking about TikTok, spectacle marketing is another thing, right? Like Mr. Beast is very good at spectacle marketing.
Yeah.
It's always something crazier and crazier and crazier. The problem with spectacles is it has to get crazier and crazier and crazier. If it doesn't, you'll start to bore people. So like his trajectory has to remain insane.
Which is hard because it's like, remember he compared the boat thing? We had a whole podcast episode on it, from like $1 boat to
$1 million boat or $1 billion boat.
It was something, I don't think it was bigger than $1 million.
Billion.
Yeah, you can't get. I don't think you get that big of a yacht for $1 million.
No, you can't. You can't. You're right. You're right. Yeah.
I haven't been on a boat in ages.
$1 billion.
Yeah, I get seasick.
Yeah.
But either way, the key with engaging content is just like something fresh, new. If you look at the Hormozis, they do a really good job with creating engaging content on social media. So does Cody Sanchez.
Alex and okay, so let's look at Alex. Layla does a good job, but what I would say is Alex and Cody, they tell really good stories. It's not that Layla doesn't tell good stories. Layla is I don't think she tells as many stories as the other two, and that's what I think creates a lot of novelty as well.
But for me, it's not just the stories. They create content that appeals to the masses. Mm-hmm. Like Cody will be like, this guy's playing the violin, and he created a business that's doing $100,000 a year. So, okay, how you make $100,000 a year playing a violin?
Or this laundromat makes like $5 million a year, and they don't no money down or something like that.
Yeah. Or like Alice will be like, I've tried on 40 pairs of shorts, 40 pairs of t-shirts, and 40 different shoes, and here's the most comfortable outfit.
Yeah.
Right? But like stuff that's broad, mass appeal. I'm not saying it converts the best. I'm not saying it can't convert well. I think it doesn't convert as well as niche content, but you're somewhat making it up by having more people that are just viewing the content. But anything that's unique like that does really well. And I went through phases where I would create stuff like that. Like I talked about.
Yeah, what about your $100,000 outfit or something?
I did stuff about clothes, what spending $100,000+ on clothes did for me, what traveling in first class, what I got from it. I broke down a long time ago when people actually liked it. No one cares for it anymore, but the Centurion Amex card, what all the benefits were and stuff like that. And that kind of content did really well. But when we look at visitor to conversion rate, it was just so terrible that we stopped creating content like that. But on the flip side, if you create very specific, technical, data-rich content, people love it. It's super engaging. Like we'll be like, what's the difference between using a subdomain versus a subdirectory for SEO? And you can say like, assuming you actually did, we analyzed 1,632 sites and this is what we learned, right? I'm making it up, but assuming you can actually run the study, analyze all those sites, and you can come up with key nuggets and breaking that kind of stuff down for people, they love it. You're not going to get the views compared to like what's more comfortable, Crocs versus, Nike. But on the flip side, you'll generate way more customers.
If you want to create engaging content, it's worth thinking about what it is that you're actually enjoying. And so, for example, this Marketing School podcast, we're nerding out on marketing right now. We're talking about stories. But also, I've realized, for me, I don't like doing direct-to-camera like I am right now, where I'm lecturing. But what I enjoy doing is having conversations. So long-form podcasts, 2 to 3 hours or so, I can do those all day because, one, I love learning. 2, I love teaching. And I kind of get both of those at the same time, right? So it's like figuring out what really resonates with you. And so for Neil, he doesn't do spectacle stuff, right? And you have to also understand there's a trade-off too. Like, do what you enjoy because that keeps it engaging. People can tell where you're not having fun with it. Yep. But also with Marketing School, our trade-off here is we do it daily. But I don't know about you, but I've had a lot of people come up to me at conferences saying, hey, I listened to the podcast, or I used to listen to podcasts. It's great stuff, but they got what they needed and they moved on. And like, maybe that's just how it is for this. And like, you have to be willing to accept the trade-offs.
Yeah, or what I found is majority of people I've talked to, they listen to some episodes. They're not always consistent, but a lot do listen to it in spurts, in which they'll listen, they'll go and execute a lot of stuff, and then they'll come back 3, 4, 6 months later, start listening again, and then go and implement new stuff that they learned.
Yep. And by the way, like we're constantly iterating too, right? So it's important to do the type of content that you enjoy that actually gets engagement and actually converts for you, so you can ikigai your way to content, and then also do. I forgot what I was gonna say, so too bad. So go ahead.
The big thing I would really tell everyone is if you're really trying to create engaging content, the hardest part is, and we talked about this, is creating something new. And what I figured out that's really helped me, and it's not actually anything revolutionary. I used to try to figure out what's new by reading a lot of other sites, but then creating what they're writing is more like regurgitated. What's really helped me is looking at what's trending in other industries. So let's say we're in marketing. Let's say someone is in digital transformation, or someone is in sales or something, right? Not marketing, but sales.
Mm-hmm.
And let's say the company is Gong and they did an interesting study on something related to sales. And if it went viral, what we'll see is, hey, can we actually do something similar like that for the marketing industry? So look at what's working for other industries that's causing content to get tons of engagement, like shares, virality, and see if you can apply that to your industry and see if anyone's created anything like that within your industry. And if so, then great, do more of it. Or if they have it, then go create it and see what ends up happening. A great example of this is, if you look at Gong, they may do stuff like on, how much do you talk versus they talk or other people talk. And you can say, hey, based on the average time that you talk, this is better for sales or it's worse for the sales. You can end up analyzing a lot of content on, let's say if I was doing marketing from social media and reels, and be like, what's the difference between a 5-second reel, a 10-second reel, a 15, 20, 25, 30, 40, and be like, does less talk time or more talk time actually help you get more engagement? And you can break it down, not just for, hey, we analyze 10,000 videos, but look at it per industry and have a big sample set for each one and be like, okay, for the auto industry, here's what they prefer. For B2B software, here's what they prefer. For healthcare, here's what people prefer. And if you just break it down like that, and then you start giving people the data, we're finding that kind of stuff to do really well. But you can take what someone else is doing and adapt that concept to your industry, just like I gave the example with Gong.
If someone makes an AI tool that can do that, where they can extrapolate the data and scrape all the data, we would be very interested to at least try it out, if not invest. I don't know about invest, because these things, I feel like things can get.
We'll be a paying user.
Yeah, we'll be customers.
Yeah.
All right, so that is it for today. Please don't forget to rate, review, subscribe. Check out this next video over here if you're watching on YouTube, and we'll see you tomorrow.